Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my reading wrap up for the month of June and July. I normally do a reading wrap up at the end of every single month, but I got a little bit busy and a little bit happy, is that the right word? I got a little bit excited filming these long ass vlogs for you guys, so I got a little distracted. Next thing I knew, it was the middle of July and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna do my wrap up for June with July's wrap up. I don't know the exact count of how many books that I read off the top of my head. I'll put the number here. It's a lot. I wouldn't say I've been in a reading slump for most of this year, but if you guys watched my mid-year reading wrap up, you know that most of the books that I've read this year have just been like meh. They're like books that I'd recommend to people and say, you'd probably enjoy it, but it's not anything revolutionary and it's just okay. That's how I felt about a lot of the books that I have read this year until June and July hit. June and July, it was like a turnover for me. The first book that I read in the month of June was the Mindfuck series, which is actually what I'm going to start with today. I wasn't planning on starting with it, but we are going to. It's at the bottom of this pile, so give me 1 second. Once I started with my reread of the Mindfuck series, it was like a game changer and the tables turned to where almost every single book that I read I absolutely loved. This is a dark romance. You guys probably hear me yap about this book so much. I don't know if I'm necessarily yapping about it on YouTube, but I am yapping about this book a lot on TikTok. I love this book. I love this series. It is just the perfect blend of Criminal Minds vibes, dark romance, and smut. Like the perfect balance of all three of those. What a great combination. Lana Myers is a serial killer and she's dating an FBI agent who just so happens to be head on her case and he's hunting her. But he thinks he's hunting a man, not his little girlfriend. So good. Next, we have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I'm not going to say too much about this book because I just read this book in the vlog that I posted last week. So if you want my full thoughts, go watch that vlog. I loved that vlog. I thought it was so fun. And this book, I love this book and I thought it was so fun. I gave it 5 stars. Beautifully written. It evoked so much emotion in me while reading it. I felt so many different feelings throughout the entirety of this book. I felt connected to the characters. I felt like I was rooting for the characters the entire time, and there's nothing worse than reading a book and you not giving a shit about the characters. That wasn't the case with this one. I would die for these characters. I love them. Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I own it, but I listened to the audio on Spotify. I gave this book 5 stars. Wasn't expecting to do that. The audio was phenomenal. I don't know if it would be the same experience reading it physically or on your Kindle, whatever, however you read your books. The audio was so good. The narrator was great. I wasn't getting annoyed with the characters or the narrator. This is a single mom romance, best friend sister romance, a little bit of opposites attract romance, and it's sapphic. I did a reread of Beach Read in June. I wasn't planning on doing a reread, but I ended up donating an annotated copy of Beach Read, my first copy of Beach Read that I ever owned and annotated. I ended up donating that book for the Books for Brazil auction, and I wanted to read through my annotations one more time before I sent the book off. So I ended up reading through my first copy ever of Beach Read and reading over all my annotations before I sent the book off to the person who won the auction. And yet again, a 5-star read for me. Yet again, one of my favorite books, and it means so much to me. I love Emily Henry. I love the vibes of this book. It's just perfect to read in the summer. And it really is worth the hype. Also, on another note, if you guys saw the casting for People We Meet on Vacation, has me gagged. Tom Blythe, he's my white boy of the year. He's my white boy of the year. I love him with my entire heart. I'm so excited. Next, we have To Have and To Heist. This was a really fun read. Nothing revolutionary. Reading this felt like watching, I say this all the time, it felt like watching The Spy Who Dumped Me, because it kind of gave me the same vibes as The Blonde Identity. Very similar books. If you read The Blonde Identity based on my recommendation, or you've just read it and you liked it, this is a great book to pick up next. Hidden Pictures. This is not my copy. This is my friend Anna Claire's copy. She gave me this book and she said, hey, I need you to read this because I really feel like you're going to like it. This is classified as horror. I wouldn't say it's very horror-esque. I would say it's more just suspenseful, nothing too crazy. With it being marked under the horror genre and that being the main genre it's marketed as, I was a little bit worried going into this because we know I've been getting into horror a little bit this year, but I am still a little bit hesitant because it does scare the shit out of me. And I'm a scaredy cat. I'm getting so much better, but I still am such a scaredy cat. This is mild. So if you are also a scaredy cat, you will be okay. You will be okay, trust. I gave this 5 stars. I gave a lot of books I've read in the past few months 5 stars. The plot twist genuinely had my jaw dropped, and I didn't see it coming. I don't know what I saw coming. Didn't see that coming. The basis of this book is this girl's going to nanny for this family, and the little boy starts drawing some weird pictures. And this is also a picture book because those pictures that he draws, they're in the book. They start off really small, normal, childlike drawings, and then they turn into this. And the nanny is like, how are you drawing this? How are you drawing this? You are a child. Crazy shit. Paranormal aspect to it too. The Bromance Book Club. This was fun. This was fun. I thought that this book was a collective of men joining a book club because they didn't know how to please their wives. And for some reason, I thought that the MMC of this book, his wife had left him and he was moving on to a new girl and he was like trying to figure out how to please a woman and date her. That's not the case. This is a second chance romance. And it was actually so wow. Maybe I am into second chance romances because I keep saying I don't love the second chance romance trope, but I feel like over the past 6 months, every time I've read a second chance romance book, I've actually enjoyed it. Maybe I am turning into a second chance romance girly. This was a second chance romance, kind of a let's fix this marriage in the best way possible. Was it revolutionary? No. But it was a good romance book. The next 2 books that I'm about to show you are 5-star reads. This has been such a good summer so far. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This book spoke to me. It spoke to my soul. Also at the stage of life that I'm in, I related to so many different things that Dolly was going through or had gone through during this book. The one sentence that sticks out to me, and the one that you probably see on TikTok because it's pretty popular. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, actually. I actually can't find it. It's pissing me off because I've been looking through the pages for a while. I don't know if I marked it. But the one sentence that she said in here, I might butcher it a little bit. She says, nearly everything that I know about love is because of my female friendships. I could not agree more. If I think about it too much, I'll actually start crying because I love my friends with my entire heart. And if you have shitty friends, know that there are better people out there. And if your friends do not love you well, know that there are people out there who will love you well. And you deserve meaningful friendships. And I wish every single day that people will find the love that I have found in my friendships because it has changed my life. To all my friends who watch this, I love you with my entire heart. Like, actually, I would die without you guys. The next 5-star read we have is The Arc of Daydream. I also read this in a vlog. This was so good. Slow, long, a little bit drawn out, but so good. And I think the slowness of it added such a beautiful and well done build-up because this was friends to lovers, and I think that build-up was so necessary, and that friendship developing between Hallie and Henry was so necessary, at least for me to read. I don't think that'll be the case for everybody, and I don't think this will be everybody's cup of tea because of how like drawn out it is. It's not a fast-paced book, but I absolutely loved it. I related to both of the characters in so many different ways, and in the way that Henry shut down when he got like overwhelmed or a little bit stressy, related to that a little bit too hard there. This is the 3rd book in the Maple Hills series. These characters are my Addicted series. You know, the Addicted Calloway Sister series, how people feel so closely to all of those characters. And even if they don't love every single book in that series, there's something about all of the characters that just feels like a family to them. That's how I feel about these characters. These 2 specifically, and all of the side characters. This is my Addicted series. Next, we have a book that the more that I think about it, the less that I like it. Powerful by Lauren Roberts. The more I think about it, the less I like it. That's really all I can say. I thought it was just like very meh. And at first when I finished and read it, I was like, oh, okay, that was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars in the vlog that I was reading it in. And then I processed it for a few more days and I was like, that really wasn't great. And then the more that I've processed it over the past month, I'm just like, it just was. I don't have anything crazy to say about it. 2 more physical copy books. We're flying through these. The Friendship Study. I read this in a vlog. I loved this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. The cover of this is so gorgeous. Like, genuinely, this is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. This is a friends to lovers romance. We have some bisexual representation in here. If you like friends to lovers, which friends to lovers is one of my favorite tropes. It's one of my favorite tropes. This book is incredible. Between Never and Forever, I've talked a little bit about my thoughts on this book. It was okay. It was a little bit too repetitive for my liking, which sucks to say because I loved the first 2 books in the series. I did like these characters, but the middle 50-60% there was just way too repetitive for my liking. And that's all I have to say about it. Okay, moving on to the books that I don't own. First we have Grey After Dark. 5 stars. 5 stars. This was so good. This was such a good thriller. It is. I need to stop saying free on Kindle Unlimited. The girls who get it, okay? When I say free on Kindle Unlimited, it's not free, and I apologize if that was ever confusing for people. When I say free, I mean you pay the $12.99 a month. This is available. I'm gonna try and start saying that. Switching my verbiage. This is available on Kindle Unlimited. I've talked about this book a little bit in a few videos on my channel. The pacing of it was just really good, and I think it's based on a true story, and it was truly my worst nightmare. A girl getting kidnapped in the woods on her run and then going to live or forced to live with preppers. Crazy. Last night at Villa Lucia, this was just okay. It was a mystery thriller. The plot twist in it wasn't anything super crazy. It wasn't anything that I didn't see coming. I did see it coming, unfortunately. I listened to this on audio and it was just like, it's not going to be a bad audiobook if you listen to it. And it's also not going to be a bad read if you read it. It was just okay. The reason why I ended up picking up this book was because in the description of the book, it says everybody wakes up in the morning and they find a dead body in the pool. Something along those lines. It says something like this. And I was like, oh, dead body in the pool. Kind of a whodunit. I could have told you who done it from the beginning. The Way We Touch. This is also available on Kindle Unlimited. It was just okay. There was really no plot. It was brother's best friend. He was a football player coming home with her brother for off season, I think, to help with like a football camp at a local high school. Don't Call Me Daddy. I was supposed to read this in August, but I ended up reading it at the very end of July. This was the book that Jolie ended up picking for me for my August TBR. If it was 100 pages shorter, I probably would have bumped it up a star. It was so fun at the beginning. It was a little bit dragged out too much. I was skimming the last like 15% of it. Overall, incredibly fun read. It's age gap, billionaire romance, and it gave what it needed to give. All you have to say to get me to read a book really is age gap and billionaire, and I'm there. The Housemade Secret by Frida McFadden. This was... It wasn't a necessary follow-up to the first one. I really thought it was going to give a little bit more. I did end up reading it in a vlog, so you can go watch this if you want my full thoughts. It was okay. The Housemaid is a really good book in my opinion, and do you need to read this following up The Housemaid? Not really. You'll have a good time, but it wasn't anything revolutionary, and I definitely won't be reading the third one because I don't think I need to read the third one. I think that's pushing it a little too far, and from what I've heard, it just like is even more meh. This was okay. Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I did love this though. I read this in like 5 hours straight. Read it in this video. This was a good mystery thriller. A lot of people say that the plot twist catches you off guard because it actually doesn't make any sense, but I thought it made a lot of sense. I thought it was good. This couple is going to check out a house that they want to live in the middle of nowhere, and when they get to the house, they end up getting stuck in a storm, and so they end up staying at the house. Oh yeah, did I mention that the previous owner of the house was murdered? Huh? The Final Hunt and The Last Hunt. I listened to both of these on audiobook, and the FMC kind of gives a little bit of Gone Girl vibes, but way more mild. Way more mild. When I say she gives those vibes, I actually don't know if I should say she gives those vibes because it's nothing that insane, but it also is at the same time. Like, she was crazy in the best way. While I was reading it, I was like, I support women's rights and women's wrongs. Make sure you read the first book before you read the second one, because I accidentally started with the second one, and then I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I was like, oh, I skipped the first one. I should probably go read that. The Surprise Party. I also listened to this book in this video. This was another meh thriller. Another meh thriller. I did not give a shit about any of the characters, and they were all annoying the fuck out of me. This wife and her husband end up going on a vacation together, and then their entire family shows up on this vacation. If I was going on a vacation to get away from everybody and my entire family showed up, I'd be pissed. I would actually be livid. And then also the interaction between her children and her was so weird. Why were they in their late 20s saying, Mommy, can you do this for me? the fuck is going on? Take Over. This is not available on Kindle Unlimited. It is $5 in the Kindle store though. This is a billionaire arranged marriage romance. I don't remember why I got this or who recommended this book to me or how this got on my radar. But next thing I know, I'm on my Kindle and I'm like, hey, I kind of want to read this. I binged it in like a day. This does end on a cliffhanger though, and everything wraps up, I think, in the second book or maybe the third book. I don't know. But it ended and I was like, where's the epilogue? Where's the happy ending? What's happening? What's happening? And then it said, go to book 2. And I said, huh? What do you mean we're not wrapping everything up in the first one? Do I think everything could have been wrapped up in the first one? Yes. But I really love the MMC in this book, and I know this man is gonna grovel in the second book. And he's really going to bring his A game. He's just a good guy. And I trust him. And also the way he treats the FMC and the way he defended her so many different times. I was literally like, I was so happy. I was so happy. The Island. This was so good. This was so good. This family is going on a vacation in Australia and they end up paying this man to take them on a ferry to this island where their kids can see koala bears because their kids really want to see koala bears. They slide some money under the table and they're like, just take us so we can see it. They end up fucking up when they get over to that island and then get stranded on the island kind of because the only way out is this ferry, which the family who owns the island owns the ferry. But because they fucked up and did something, they're now being hunted by the family. Did I explain that really weird? I think I explained that really, really odd. They go to island owned by family looking for koala bear. They fuck up. Family goes, you fucked up. And they go, oh no. And then they go hiding. And then the family comes to find them. Better? Cersei. I ended up reading Cersei twice, guys. This was just not the book for me, and I'm so pissed because I feel like this is such a hot girl read, and I wanted so badly to love this book and love the Greek mythology of it, but I just don't think I give a shit. I don't think I give a shit. And it's not because it was slow, because I really appreciated the writing and the detail that was put into this. I think it was a beautifully written book. I think it just wasn't for me, and that's it. Well written, incredible. I totally understand why people love it and are obsessed with it. I just didn't feel any sort of connection with it. And that's okay. If you like Greek mythology, you'll probably like it though. A Flicker in the Dark. I listened to this book on audio, long overdue. This is a very popular mystery thriller book, and I've been meaning to read it for years now, and I finally ended up listening to it. It was okay. Very predictable, but in a good way. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good. You're not going to have a bad time if you listen to it. Are you going to guess who the bad guy is? Maybe. I guessed who the bad guy is. I'm very proud of myself for that one because it was a little predictable, but also at the same time, you could very well overlook some of the things that I didn't overlook. It also reminded me a little bit of The Locked Door by Frida McFadden, but a way milder version. The Locked Door, the FMC's dad is a serial killer. Actually, the only connection between the two is the FMC's in both books were their dads were serial killers and were locked away. So I don't know why I'm comparing them because that's the only thing they have in common. And the last book that I'm going to talk about today, On the Line. This is a line cook romance. A line cook romance. And I loved it. The only bad thing I have to say about this book is Ozzy, the MMC, did say his favorite vegetable is an avocado. He's a chef. If you were a normal civilian, I could understand the mistake. But the nutrition degree in me, I have a degree in nutrition and dietetics. If you didn't know, most of you do know. The nutrition degree in me was like, what the fuck? It's a fruit because it has a seed. I would just consider it a fat because it is so heavy in fat. It's a healthy fat. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's a healthy fat. I love avocado. It's so good for you. It's a fruit because of the seed. He said, it's my favorite vegetable. I said, what? Other than that, great book. Less friends to lovers and more friends with benefits into lovers. Yeah. It was also spicy, pretty spicy. So just know that before going into it. There's a lot of spice in it, but I liked it. And sometimes I don't fuck with spice. Sometimes it's a little too much, but I didn't feel like it was too much. I just felt like it was the right amount. And those are all the books. I think if I missed any, I'll just like put their picture here and put a thumbs up or a thumbs down next to them, but I don't think I missed any. Those are all the books that I read in the months of June and July. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next week. Love y'all. Bye!